Hey everybody, it's Rob here, bringing you the blue Meteor Firewall Sorcerer for Season 3, one of the strongest builds. We just finished the tier list, and this build is looking pretty potent. It's about A tier, on the verge to S tier. It's definitely one of the strongest SORC builds in the game after Ball Lightning has been nerfed, and it can basically trigger an infinite chain of blue meteors that then trigger firewalls. And then those firewalls, you see here, trigger even more meteors, and those meteors can again trigger even more firewalls if you have a high percent lucky hit. Right now we have 75%. We can reach up to 100% lucky hit with the new helm that's making this build like super viable. Basically, we're playing big ultimate. We can basically spam our permanencies. They don't even cost any mana. And yeah, we're gonna make it pretty hot here in the winter. And this is gonna be, again, like one of the strongest builds for the entire season. And the main reason for that is the planner is in the description, is going to be the new Starfall Coronet Helm. I already made a previous video going over the concept of the build, but now we are going in a lot more detail. And we also have a leveling version here. That's also the same link in the description. You can just go through here. There's a direct damage version, there's a dot version, and there is a leveling version. Because this build is also the strongest, or one of the strongest levelers with the firewall and burning. It just gets like giga strong basically, and monsters just walk through the firewall and they just like burn to death, and you're just flying up. I think the current world record here for leveling, let's start with that actually, is also with the firewall SORC. They're doing dopamine tunnels, and I think they have a 32-minute cathedral or something, so which is completely crazy. And you can see here these monsters, they just all get lured through the firewall and they just die from the fire. Like, they're all burning, and yeah, it's just giga strong combination. I'm gonna link this video down here as well from Caven B. Again, this is like world record on speedrun.com for leveling, so very strong build. And he is mainly focused about, I'm gonna open the skill tree here, like main focus is on just firewall. And then there is some crazy stuff here that heals you, so you also can't die, and it also gives you infinite mana basically when you kill burning enemies. And it just also has a very good synergy. So some base aspects here that are going to be played in the leveling build. Again, the link is here. Disobedience, like, it's easy to keep up. You just burn everything, and you have your perma armor for leveling all the time. And then you have the prodigies aspect. This one gives you a mana back, and then later on you also have the burn here that gives you the mana whenever you kill enemies on about level 20 or something. You have the crazy fireball enchant, which is also very good in groups. Like, this also works very well in groups. One of the best solo leveling. Probably the only class that can somewhat come close is Necromancer Blood Surge leveling. But yeah, firewall is nuts. And then in the end game, yeah, we also don't know like exactly what the construct is going to do. I just put some stuff here, like with resources, some pulling, some extra burning, some DPS. We don't know, like, this is going to have to be tested. But yeah, this is going to be the pet. And then once you reach the end game, we also don't exactly know where the Starfall Coronet will drop. But it's going to drop somewhere, maybe at Duriel, or maybe at even another Uber boss, maybe at the new Uber boss. And once you have this one, you're going to be switching, or you're going to be adding the meteors to your build, and there is a bunch of synergies with the meteors. So this one is basically quadrupling your meteors. You go from 1 to 4 meteors, and you also get meteor ranks, you get crazy lucky chance, you get cooldown, and also your meteor enchantment now is also going to drop meteors. So I showed this calculation here. So at some point, this is how the Starfall looks. At some point, guys, you have an infinite chain of meteors. Like, you just cast one meteor, and then thanks to your lucky hit chance, it's going to trigger more meteors and more firewalls and more explosions. You see here, there's always like a double meteor already. But again, this lucky hit will go way up with the new meteor, because every other meteor probably has a chance to trigger. See, there's a firewall coming now. Trigger another meteor, and another firewall, and another explosion, another firewall, another meteor. Like, it just auto triggers like to insanity basically. And that's basically the reason. And one other reason why our meteors are blue is if you have very high ranks in them. For example, I'm rocking rank 20 teleport. But if you have more than 10 ranks, this still becomes like even more powerful, and it gets this like blue look. So this is like blue meteors. But this just means that they will be doing like a lot more damage basically. These are the blue meteors from rank 10 or higher. And then you notice here if I get rid of some skills. So see if it's like rank 9, it's just going to be a red meteor. And if we put the skill points back on into the meteor and same as with Firewall, it's becoming blue. Blue means good, big DPS, lots and lots of damage. And yeah, we can make it pretty warm here on the servers as well. Like if this infinite trigger chain is going to work the way we theory crafted it's going to work, obviously there's no way of 100% telling without testing it with the new legendary. Obviously we don't have that right now. But yeah, once we have it, we will see how the server is going to handle it. You guys know the Ball Lightning SORC already caused a bunch of lags because of crazy hits, and I think this Meteor SORC has basically the same potential to cause very similar lags. Obviously, I hope they're going to fix these lags, but for now, we're going to have them. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty crazy combination here, and we combine it basically with Shattered Stars, proccing even more meteorites whenever we cast a meteor. And I don't know like how many meteors we're gonna proc at the end, but it's basically gonna look like a full out, like blown out Armageddon, where just like a shower of meteors constantly rains down on the enemies, similar to the Russia Wizard in Diablo 3. So there is a bunch of different options here, and I have a direct version which is mainly focused on the meteor, and there's also a dot version which mainly focuses on the dots, similar to what you do in the leveling. And there has been quite a few buffs actually. One is to dots here with the Burning Instinct Paragon node, basically getting quite a significant damage increase because it's scaling with 25 int now instead of 75. So this one makes it like a triple efficiency basically. And you're getting way more stuff there in the end. So those are gonna be really nice. And yeah, we have a bunch of like pretty normal stuff. There is a lot of ring options. Another option here that you can use is the Starless Sky, because now the old Starless Sky only worked for core skills, but the new one even works for meteors. Like any resource spender will trigger it, and you're also getting 1.4x. So if you're having resource problems and you happen to find this Uber Unique, it's not mandatory. This build can be played fully without Uber Uniques. But yeah, Starless Sky I think could be really cool for this build, because you can still run out of mana here if I'm not like healing at all. But yeah, with the ultimate and the pulling, it's gonna be very hard to run out of mana. You see, I'm not even casting any firewalls, and firewalls is just proccing like crazy. And those meteors, they will keep coming down from the sky basically, even after I stop, and it's gonna proc even more fire. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. There is also another option here. It is called the Shredding Blade. This is the new aspect. It basically has to do with Ice Blades, but if you just read the second sentence, you gain 25x vulnerable damage. So actually just gaining bonus damage 25x against vulnerable. So this is also pretty cool synergy that could be played in many builds. We'll see exactly how it's gonna work out at the end. But yeah, the setup that we came up with, I've also been talking a bit with Barbarian, who has played a similar version of this build before. I'm also going to link his planner in the description. So there's basically different kind of options. You can also play the Aspect of Fortune to get even more lucky hit. But for now, I wanted to go with like a full DPS version. Like this one doesn't even have Disobedience, because even in Abattoir of Zir Sorcerer we're playing without armor. But yeah, you can choose Disobedience here on the amulet, and I have a lot of like notes here, what you could do and what you could switch. But main overview for DPS is Starfall, Raymond for the pixel pulls, Shattered Stars for extra meteorites that can proc Firewall, that then proc more meteors, Talbot's Will. We are triggering it with our teleport that we can reset pretty fast. So we're getting the Unstoppable effect, and we're getting resources like that. We are playing Asu for the extra crit chance. Again, this is the direct version. In the dot version, you don't want to play Asu. But in the direct version, we benefit from crit because we want our Meteor to be our damage. And that's the reason why we also play the Aspect of the 3 Curses, further doubling our crit damage by a 1.8 multiplier, basically against healthy enemies. Really strong. Then we're playing Stormswell because we always have a barrier from our ice armor and from one of our passive effects here, protection, whenever we use a cooldown spell, and we're using plenty of cooldown spells here. This one, and this one we have 4 cooldown spells. We're gonna get a bunch of barrier. And then we also have Conceited here for even more damage when we have a barrier. Tarasha could be insane. We don't know if the Pets are gonna proc the Talrasha ring, but if they do, you can equip a shadow damage here. There's one that transforms here, Dusk support. This one gives you shadow damage. And there is another one that poisons enemies. So similar to what we did with the Vampiric powers, we could get 2 more stacks, the shadow and the poison stack, that you normally cannot get on a SORC, but they work with Talrasha for the ring, which gives you another 30% multiplicative damage increase on this ring, basically. So that could be an option. We don't know exactly here with the construct, so this will still, we'll have to see when we play the build. But there's tremendous potential with the pets and the different element sources from the construct skills. Then we have the X-Files Corrodal Sit, and this one also deals a bunch of direct damage whenever your dot damage, which Meteor leaves behind the dot and Firewall leaves behind the dot, basically will allow you to proc like crazy, and significant damage here as well. And yeah, enchantments, we are playing the Meteor enchantment and the Firewall enchantment, and these on lucky hit can trigger each other, and that's also the reason why we want to stack so much lucky hit chance, right? Like Firewall can trigger Meteor and Meteor can trigger Firewall, and it can basically go up until an infinite chain, especially if we consider this sheet here that I'm also going to link in the description, where we only need like 3 targets basically, because we need to round up, to indefinitely sustain statistically our chain. I mean, you can still get unlucky, but you should be able to sustain it fully with the combination of Meteor, Enhanced Meteor, Meteor Enchantment, Firewall Enchantment, and the new Starfall Coronet, plus the Shattered Stars. But we will have to see which meteorites have a proc coefficient, can lucky hit, and all this kind of stuff. Looking really strong. Skill tree in this direct damage version looks like this. So nothing on the core section. We're fully focused on mastery skills. So we're getting the 1.9 multiplier, teleport, glass cannon like DPS, a heavy build. We have ice armor for barrier, frost nova to make stuff vulnerable. More lucky hit. Like again, lucky is the most important here to trigger our infinite chain. Damage reduction after spending mana. We spend a lot of mana with our meteors and firewalls. And protection here for the barrier on cooldown. Then we're rocking Meteor and Firewall. You can probably like even get rid of points in Firewall here, and in the dot version you can get rid of points of Meteor, because here most of damage is not from burning but it's from Meteor, and in the other version most damage is from burning but not from Meteor. You can kind of switch around the skills. We'll see. We have Devouring Blaze here, big multipliers. Then we get a bunch of mana after killing a burning enemy, and we get healing when enemies are burning, plus the Inferno, which allows us to cast our Pyromancy skills with no mana, and also has this crazy pixel pull, this snake. So you can see we cast this, like our mana does not drop at all, even though we're blasting the meteors. And it also pixel pulls the enemies, so this has been pretty cool, I think. Again, the build just looks like so amazing and feels so amazing to play whenever you have like enough mana and resources, so I think it's gonna be one of the most fun builds to play. I encourage you, if you're playing Sorcerer, to check this one out. Last but not least here would be the Paragon. We also got some optimizations here. Exploit in the starter board here, extra vulnerable multiplier, Pyromancy, this one is very nice. We have the Searing Heart here, like basically like all the Pyromancy synergies. Elementalist, and we're speccing out like in this board and then going for Enchantment Master. This one is crucial because it basically buffs your enchantments from 8 to 10%, and this one is getting buffed I think from like 25 or something. So very important to have Enchantment Master in all the Paragons. Yeah, then we're rocking like quite some damage reduction here and armor like we always need. Flame Feeder, Adapt here because mastery skills basically is Firewall and Meteor, super cool stuff. More DPS, Destruction here for critical strikes, again our Meteor critical strikes, and yeah, the Enchantment Master. And also here, very important, lucky hit on the Paragon board, so we can get, or we can reach these high numbers. You probably want to be pre-buffing with the Elixir of Combat Fortune for even more lucky hit, so you can, you know, get your infinite chain going. But yeah, that's the build. I'm going to link it in the description. This is probably going to be the second build I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be starting with the Charge Bar, but we're going to have one of these sorceresses in our 4-player party on launch here on Tuesday, and I'm really hoping that we're going to get our hands on a Starfall Coronet very early on. But even if you don't, guys, again, this is literally one of the best builds for leveling, and the leveling setup is also there, guys. I have a lot more build guide videos coming. If you like the video, tell me in the comments, leave a like, and let me know what class you or what build are you going to play. Lightning Storm Druid is also an amazing contender, I think. And yeah, I also gonna have the tier list video here linked in the description. We will see how it's gonna shape out. I think it's a pretty good guess, and any build here that is either in S or in A tier, like these are very close. The needed power level is very low, I think, in Season 3, and every build gonna feel very strong, even in the end game, and in the vaults, and probably on the new Uber boss as well. We will see how it's gonna shape out. I'm hyped, I'm gonna be streaming, I'm gonna be creating more build guides. Hope you guys enjoyed, my friends. Take care. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.